Hello, and welcome to Youth for Christ Crusade Virtual Summer Camp. My name is Andre, and today we will be cooking a 3-bean chili. Here you see I have all my ingredients laid out. You have cumin here, paprika, cayenne pepper, chili powder, sea salt, and black pepper. On the vegetable side, you have garlic, you have a hot banana pepper, 2 jalapenos, you have 4 bell peppers. These are your tricolor bell peppers that you would normally get at a grocery store. And you have a green bell pepper for the milder taste. You have a couple of yellow onions, and you have a bunch of cilantro. First, we're going to chop up all of our veggies and get those ready to go into the pot with our 2 pounds of ground beef. Now leave the seeds in there because that gives heat to the chili. Next, on the cilantro, because I don't want a lot of stem, I'm just going to take the leaves off and discard of the stems. As you can see, we finished breaking down our cilantro off the stems. So now I'm just going to give them a quick chop to break them down into even smaller pieces so that they can cook with our meat. And just turn it. Again, just giving it a quick chop, bunches of chop, just mincing it down a little bit. The reason why you take the leaves off the stem is that all you get is just the leaves, which adds the flavor for the cilantro. And it also increases your presentation because you don't have big pieces of stem which don't cook down in your ground beef. Added that. As you can see, I have all my veggies prepped. These are my bell peppers. Here, I have my banana peppers, jalapenos, onions, and cilantro. And I have garlic that's already been minced up for me, so just a little bit of saves on the time. Next, I'm going to go prepare my ground beef. Got my pan warming up. And I'm starting with 2 pounds of ground beef. Again, I'm using 7327 to give us some extra flavor. from the ground beef. Turn your heat down low, and now you start adding in your veggies. While my veggies and my meat, my big veggies over here are cooking, I'm adding about a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm gonna start cooking the rest of my veggies over here. I'm gonna let that warm up just a little bit. The oil is heated up. I'm going to add in the rest of my veggies. We can start the cooking process with them. My veggies were cooking. I went ahead and added 2 teaspoons of garlic, just so it can now add the flavor in. But because they were minced, I added them a little later in so they don't get burned. And my meat is cooked. It's just on a very low simmer now, so it doesn't overcook. My veggies are cooked here. So now I'm actually adding my beans. Notice how thick it is now. I'm going to add about a can of water from my tomato here. I'm going to get a can of water, get the rest of that out, and add it in. I'm adding my extra can. And you can adjust how much water you have, so depending on how thick you want your chili. We're going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to let it boil for just a couple of minutes. Then we're going to combine our meats and our veggies, and then we're going to season it, and we'll be ready to go at that point. All right, so my chili, the base of my chili, here, the beans and the veggies are boiling. Now I'm adding in my meat and my larger veggies. The larger veggies are all the bell peppers. So this is my seasoned ground beef that I'm adding in. How much is cooked down, you may choose to add more water in to thin out your chili. But that's a personal preference. Remember though, if you do add more water in, you're going to have to adjust your seasonings again. So again, we have it here. And now we need to add in more of our seasonings. The primary seasonings we're going to use are salt, cumin, and chili powder. Looks good there. That needs a little more chili powder and just a little more salt. The earthiness from the cumin is coming out well, so I don't need to add any more of that. So again, about a teaspoon. Chili powder. And this time about half a teaspoon of salt. The reason why I'm so careful with my salt, that you can always add more if you need to add, but it's difficult to take it away because then you have to dilute it with water, try to get it right. So that's why I try to add the salt in at this stage a little bit at a time. So now we're going to cook that through. We're going to mix that up. Let those seasonings marinate in there for just a little bit. Let them all marry together. And that's a good looking chili there. It's starting to look good. Everything's starting to come together. Now at this point, you see it's already starting to come to a boil. At this point, I'm going to turn the heat down low. And get a top. Make sure I turn it so it can fit. Get your heat down low. And now you're gonna let it marinate. For me, typically, and when I get to this point, I let my chili cook for about an hour, 1 to 2 hours, depending on how thick I want it to be. So about every 30 minutes, I have a timer. I'll come back. I'll check the taste again to see if I need to adjust the flavors any at all. But at this point, most of your cooking is already done. All right. Again, this is Andre for Youth for Christ Crusade Virtual Summer Camp, and this is how you cook a 3-bean chili. Goodbye.
What's up everybody, it's CJ. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I created a cooking video, but today I'm going to try my hand at a Smokey Chicken Alfredo. I've never made Alfredo before, so this should be interesting. You know what? Why don't you come join me? Let's grab our ingredients and let's get started. Okay, we have our Parmesan cheese. I have a couple of chicken breasts, just boneless chicken breasts. I have my penne rigate and my fettuccine. I haven't decided which one to use just yet. I have a few cloves of garlic here, some parsley, some butter, and from the local dairy, some heavy whipping cream. Okay, now we have our liquid smoke. I have a couple of different brands here, it doesn't really matter, and some hickory smoked marinade. And you're going to use your salt. I got Himalayan sea salt, but regular salt would do, and some flour. And we got our Gouda cheese and our seasoning. We have Italian seasoning here, and I have some no salt seasoning here. Why I didn't use the Italian seasoning, I can't figure it out, but as you can tell, I use a lot of the no salt seasoning, so that's what we're using. Okay, now let's start our pasta. We're going to start out with a pot of water, and then we're going to bring it to a boil and add our salt. Once it's boiling again, you want to add your pasta, and once it's boiling, you want to get a spatula and stir it up to make sure the pieces are not stuck together. Our next step is to prep our chicken breast with the marinade. You're going to grab a single chicken breast. This one seems kind of thick, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just cut it in half to make 2 smaller chicken breasts. You butterfly it open, like this, and then I'm just going to cut it in half, right down the middle. And it does have a little fatty tissue on the side. You can cut that off to make the perfect breast if you like, or you can go ahead and fry it. I'm going to go ahead and keep it and fry it. I have a dish and I put the chicken breast in, and I'm going to use my liquid marinade. You have to be careful with the liquid marinade when you on some dishes because it can overpower your dish. Just put enough in there to saturate through. Um, you can play with it to figure out how much you like to use, how smoky you like your food to taste. Okay, now I have my hickory smoked marinade. And you notice how the liquid smoke has saturated through the chicken. So this you can be pretty liberal with. It doesn't have a lot of salt in it. It doesn't taste real salty. But anyway, you saturate your chicken. You want to flip it, make sure that every piece is covered in the marinade. You want the flavor to soak through and through. You want every bite to taste the same, have that good smoky flavor to it. We're going to let it marinate while we're making our sauce. Okay, we're going to get our garlic, get just a couple of cloves, and we're going to press it with a knife to get the outer skin to come loose. And then you have the naked garlic there and chop. We get butter in the saucepan, melt it, and now we're going to add our garlic. This is the chopped garlic we had before, so you just add it to the pan and you're going to stir it around. And then we're going to add our heavy cream. And then you want to stir that up until it kind of blends together. Make it smooth into a nice cream. And then you want to add your Parmesan cheese. And then you're going to blend it again. Mix it all together. Try to get the cheese to melt. And it's going to create more of a cream. And just stir it real fine. And then we want to add a couple of slices. You can add a few more if you like, of smoked Gouda. And then you're going to do the same thing as you did with the Parmesan cheese. You're going to just stir it up in the pot. The heat from the sauce is going to melt the cheese, but you just have to stir it until you don't feel any more of the sliced cheese left. And you can add as much Gouda as you like, or add different kinds of cheese. You can play around with the cheeses, but I like the flavor of the smoked Gouda into the sauce. And so you just stir it up until it becomes a nice creamy sauce like this. Now you want to add your garnishes, which is parsley. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so we're just getting some parsley, chopping it up real fine. Just give the parsley a chop, and you're going to add it to the sauce because it gives it a nice color, so the sauce is just not bland. You got this parsley, and we're going to blend it in as well, and it's going to have a nice color to it. It adds a lot of pizzazz to the sauce, but no flavor. And we're going to create our flour base for it. You have about a cup of flour, however much, depending on how much chicken you're cooking. You get your flour, and then we're going to add our no salt seasoning. You get the no salt seasoning, sprinkle it on the flour, and just mix it all together to make a nice coating for your chicken. Now we want to get our chicken breast, and we're going to dip it into the flour, and just like you would coating chicken or whatever, I sometimes use egg to put on the outside of on my chicken, but since this has already been soaking in marinade, I figured I wouldn't do it. So we're gonna make sure we try to get every piece of the chicken covered. You want to flip it, make sure that if there's any creases, just to have enough batter, have a nice coating over your chicken breast. Now we're going to get our butter. This is what we're going to use to fry the chicken. You're going to melt the butter, And then we're going to get our chicken breast and we're going to lay it in there. I actually have probably too much butter. You don't really need this much. And then you just lay the chicken breast in and let it begin to fry. You want to keep it on medium heat. You don't want to burn the chicken. I did have my heat up a little more than it should have been, but if you keep it on a low heat, medium heat, it'll make it nice and golden brown without being too dark. So you just let the chicken fry on one side, and then you're going to flip it over, check it, flip it over, and let it fry on the other side. And then you keep it on the low heat to make sure the chicken is cooked all the way through. Now that our chicken is fried and it's done, we're going to take it out and just get a couple of napkins or something so you can drain the excess butter out of it. Of course, I'm letting you know this meal is not healthy. Some people call it heart attack on the plate. It has a lot of butter in it. It's very rich as far as that's concerned, the pasta and everything. So if you're not worried about health-wise, this is a very tasty dish, very nice. Nice Italian dish. Now we're going to put our dish together. We're going to get our pasta. You want to drain it, and we're going to put it into a different saucepan without all the water in it. And now we want to add our sauce. Look at that nice creamy sauce. You can save some of it to top your dish later, so just save a little bit. But we're going to get the sauce, mix it in so that each piece of pasta has sauce on it. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. So we're just stirring it up, trying to make sure that it's saturated in the sauce. Now we're going to put our chicken on top. And you can add a little bit more sauce on top and add your garnishes. Which is just parsley, just sprinkled on top. And then your dish is complete. If you like, you can add salt and pepper at the end when you're getting ready to serve it, or on your individual dish. So this is my first time making Smokey Chicken Alfredo. It looks very good. I hope your recipe came out as well as mine. And I hope you love this dish. Thank you for watching.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Oh my goodness, do I see a smoky chicken Alfredo in my future? I believe I do. I believe I do. I'm so excited. Everyone, if you haven't tried it out, please try it out. Cook it at home. I'm quite sure if you have questions, you could put comments in on our live feed on our Facebook page, as well as reach out to Clyde Griffin Jr. on his Facebook page and ask him questions as well. And for those of you that may have missed the video, I'm going to replay the video for you, just for you. Here we go.
What's up everybody, it's CJ. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I created a cooking video, but today I'm going to try my hand at a smoky chicken Alfredo. I've never made Alfredo before, so this should be interesting. You know what? why don't you come join me? Let's grab our ingredients and let's get started. Okay, we have our Parmesan cheese. I have a couple of chicken breasts, just boneless chicken breasts. I have my penne rigate and my fettuccine. I haven't decided which one to use just yet. I have a few cloves of garlic here, some parsley, some butter, and from the local dairy, some heavy whipping cream. Okay, now we have our liquid smoke. I have a couple of different brands here, it doesn't really matter, and some hickory smoked marinade. And you're going to use your salt. I got Himalayan sea salt, but regular salt would do, and some flour. And we got our Gouda cheese and our seasoning. We have Italian seasoning here, and I have some no salt seasoning here. Why I didn't use the Italian seasoning, I can't figure it out, but as you can tell, I use a lot of the no salt seasoning. So that's what we're using. Okay, now let's start our pasta. We're going to start out with a pot of water, and then we're going to bring it to a boil and add our salt. Once it's boiling again, you want to add your pasta. And once it's boiling, you want to get a spatula and stir it up to make sure the pieces are not stuck together. Our next step is to prep our chicken breast with the marinade. You're going to grab a single chicken breast. This one seems kind of thick, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just cut it in half to make 2 smaller chicken breasts. You butterfly it open, like this, and then I'm just going to cut it in half, right down the middle. And it does have a little fatty tissue on the side. You can cut that off to make the perfect breast if you like, or you can go ahead and fry it. I'm going to go ahead and keep it and fry it. I have a dish and I put the chicken breast in, and I'm going to use my liquid marinade. You have to be careful with the liquid marinade on some dishes because it can overpower your dish. Just put enough in there to saturate through. You can play with it to figure out how much you like to use, how smoky you like your food to taste. Okay, now I have my hickory smoked marinade, and you notice how the liquid smoke has saturated through the chicken. So this you can be pretty liberal with. It doesn't have a lot of salt in it. It doesn't taste real salty. But anyway, you saturate your chicken. You want to flip it, make sure that every piece is covered in the marinade. You want the flavor to soak through and through. You want every bite to taste the same, have that good smoky flavor to it. We're going to let it marinate while we're making our sauce. Okay, we're going to get our garlic, get just a couple of cloves, and we're going to press it with a knife to get the outer skin to come loose. And then you have the naked garlic there and chopped. We get butter in the saucepan, melt it, and now we're going to add our garlic. This was the chopped garlic we had before, so you just add it to the pan and you're going to stir it around. What you're trying to do is saute the garlic. You want to cook it down a little bit until it starts to brown to really give you the true flavor of the garlic. And then we're going to add our heavy cream. And then you want to stir that up until it kind of blends together. Make it smooth until a nice cream. And then you want to add your Parmesan cheese. And then you're going to blend it again. Mix it all together. Try to get the cheese. And it's going to create more of a cream. And just stir it real fine. And then we want to add a couple of slices. You can add a few more if you like of smoked Gouda. And then you're going to do the same thing as you did with the Parmesan cheese. You're going to Just stir it up in the pot. The heat from the sauce is going to melt the cheese, but you just have to stir until you don't feel any more of the sliced cheese left. And you can add as much Gouda as you like, or add different kinds of cheese. You can play around with the cheeses, but I like the flavor of the smoked Gouda into the sauce. And so you just stir it up and until it becomes a nice creamy sauce like this. Now you want to add your garnishes, which is parsley. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so we're just getting some parsley, chopping it up real fine. Just give the parsley a chop, and you're going to add it to the sauce because it gives it a nice color, so the sauce is just not bland. You got this parsley, and we're going to blend it in as well, and it's going to have a nice color to it. It adds a lot of pizzazz to the sauce, but no flavor. And we're going to create our flour base for it. You have about a cup of flour, or however much, depending on how much chicken you're cooking. You get your flour, and then we're going to add our no salt seasoning. You get the no salt seasoning, sprinkle it on the flour, and just mix it all together to make a nice coating for your chicken. Now we want to get our chicken breast, and we're going to dip it into the flour, and just like you would coating chicken or whatever, I sometimes use egg to put on the outside of on my chicken, but since this has already been soaking in marinade, I figured I wouldn't do it. So we're going to make sure we try to get every piece of the chicken covered. You want to flip it, make sure that if there's any creases, just to have enough batter, have a nice coating over your chicken breast. Now we're going to get our butter. This is what we're going to use to fry the chicken. We're going to melt the butter, and then we're going to get our chicken breast, and we're going to lay it in there. I actually have probably too much butter. You don't really need this much. And then you just lay the chicken breast in and let it begin to fry. You want to keep it on medium heat. You don't want to burn the chicken. I did have my heat up a little more than it should have been, but if you keep it on a low heat, medium heat, it'll make it nice and golden brown without being too dark. So you just let the chicken fry on one side, and then you're going to flip it over, check it, flip it over, and let it fry on the other side. And then you keep it on a low heat to make sure the chicken is cooked all the way through. Now that our chicken is fried and it's done, we're going to take it out and just get a couple of napkins or something so you can drain the excess butter out of it. Of course, I'm letting you know this meal is not healthy. Some people call it heart attack on a plate. It has a lot of butter in it. It's very rich as far as that's concerned, the pasta and everything. So if you're not worried about health-wise, this is a very tasty dish, very nice. Nice Italian dish. Now we're going to put our dish together. We're going to get our pasta. You want to drain it, and we're going to put it into a different saucepan without all the water in it. And now we want to add our sauce. Look at that nice creamy sauce. You can save some of it to top your dish later, so just save a little bit. But we're going to get the sauce, mix it in so that each piece of pasta has sauce on it. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. So we're just stirring it up, trying to make sure that it's saturated in the sauce. Now we're going to put our chicken on top. And you can add a little bit more sauce on top and add your garnishes. Which is just parsley, just sprinkled on top. And then your dish is complete. If you like, you can add salt and pepper at the end when you're getting ready to serve it, or on your individual dish. So this is my first time making Smokey Chicken Alfredo. It looks very good. I hope your recipe came out as well as mine. And I hope you love this dish. Thank you for watching.
I am Kristy Angelee. As you guys have heard, I am a businesswoman. I am a up-and-coming aspiring chef. There are so many facets to who I am. And first of all, I am so grateful to be able to be a part of YFCC, Youth for Christ Crusade, this coming year, 25 years strong. I grew up going to these camps. I was 10 years old when I first started going to YFCC camp, and I have loved, enjoyed, and I have gained so much throughout the years from going to these camps. And so when I had the opportunity to participate in a different way on a different side, I was like, I feel so honored. I feel such a privilege. So you guys know me as I'm a singer. I am a mother, a single mom of 2 wonderful boys. I have a YouTube channel. You can find the YouTube channel, Grandma's Cooking with the Twist. You guys, let me tell you something. I grew up, I really enjoy cooking. I really love cooking, but I did not, my whole desire wasn't to be a chef, okay? So this kind of just fell into my lap of becoming a cook or becoming a chef. Grandma's Cooking with the Twist is the name of my YouTube show. And that came about because as growing up, my grandmother could make anything at any time for anybody out of anything, okay? And that inspired me so much because, whenever someone comes over, she always had a meal prepared for them, or she would prepare a meal right at the drop of the hat. So Grandma's Cooking with the Twist is a show that teaches us or inspires others to use what they have in their home to create a wonderful dish. I have pasta carbonara, I have sauces, I have dressings that I've made on this YouTube channel. So you guys can go ahead and subscribe to that and find all of those wonderful dishes on there. So today, I have the opportunity of sharing with you lemon chicken. So I already have everything set up. So if you already have your ingredients, go ahead and put it out on your cutting board and what have you. So I have my cutting board right here in front of me. And I have the vegetables that I'm going to be using today will be zucchini, you guys, zucchini. So I hope you guys have your vegetable. Okay, so some little tidbits on making sure that your vegetable, you know how in the restaurants your vegetables are always, or they look really green. I'm going to tell you how to do that really quick. You get you some water, you boil some water, and then once the water boils, you're going to put your vegetables, just say if you have asparagus or if you have broccoli. So you're going to blanch, it's called blanching and shocking. So what you're going to do, you're going to drop your vegetables into the boiling water for like 30 seconds, and then you're going to see it become a vibrant green color. And then after it blanches for those 30 seconds, you're going to remove it and put it into an ice bath. Shocking it, in other words, it's stopping it from cooking. And that way you'll have that nice green looking vegetable on your plate. So with that said, I've already had, the ingredients is a pound of chicken, a pound and a half of chicken breast. I have rice that I'm going to be using. I know the recipe that I posted calls for basmati rice or jasmine rice. I love those 2 particular types of rice because of the flavor that it gives off. and also that it tastes totally different from when you are having regular cooking rice, or regular rice that you can use for many reasons. But for today's purpose, I did not get any basmati rice. I'm going to be using, for those of you that did not purchase the basmati rice, I'm just going to be using the regular long grain rice that we normally purchase from the store for your breakfast rice or your dinner rice. I've already pre-washed my rice, and so what I'm going to be using is a cup of rice, 1 cup of rice, and 2 cups of liquid. So the liquid that I'll be using today, I'm going to bring my pot over here. Hopefully you guys can see this that I already have. I'm using stock. The reason why I am using stock, and this is chicken stock, because it gives it more flavor to your rice instead of just using regular water. So I'm using chicken stock. And if I'm going too fast for you, I will slow down. Just let me know that I can slow down. And also with the chicken breast, I am going to pan sear. So I'm going to be teaching you how to pan sear your chicken. So all of this is going to be done in 30 minutes. It's going to literally take you 10 minutes to make your chicken. It's going to take you 10 minutes. So just give me 1 quick second. Okay, so it's going to take you 10 minutes. So this total meal today is going to take you, I'm going to say no longer than 30 minutes tops. So you have your vegetable, you have your starch, and you have your protein. My chicken is in the refrigerator. Let me grab my chicken really fast. I have washed my chicken off on last night, and I have actually soaked it or marinated it in Dijon mustard. It's going to help with the flavor. It's going to help break down the fatty in the meat as well. So Dijon mustard is going to give it a really nice flavor. So I'm marinating it in Dijon mustard as well as rosemary. So I got 2 sprigs of rosemary in here as well. I've already made my lemon sauce. So I actually made a lemon sauce. The recipe that I sent to you guys, it required curd. It's the same thing, the same steps that I use to make my lemon sauce. So I'm going to tell you real quick how I made my lemon sauce. My lemon sauce I made with extra lemons. I I squeezed out 2 lemons into a measuring cup. This is what I use, just 2 lemon juice, 1 lemon with squeezed lemons. I used the lemon zest, and I used a third a cup of heavy cream and some cooking oil. So I use cooking oil, so maybe half a cup as well as cooking oil. So it's like a 1-to-1 ratio here. So you're going to get your cooking oil and you're going to put it in the pan and you're going to start it to cook. And then once that starts cooking, you're going to add your other ingredients. Okay, so if you guys are ready and if you have everything set up, I've already got my water on for my rice. I already have my skillet on. I'm using a cast iron skillet. And you want to make sure that you're not using a cast iron skillet for your sauce, because what will happen is your sauce will pick up the taste, the cast iron, the iron taste from your skillet. So what you're wanting to use, you're going to want to use a regular sauce pan in order to do your sauce. So that way it will not pick up that iron taste from your skillet. So here's my lemon sauce. Here's my sauce that I'm going to be using on my chicken. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk you through the process. So you're going to coat your chicken, as I've already stated. I've already coated my chicken with the Dijon mustard. But according to this recipe, if you bought the ingredients, I'm going to walk you through the steps with the ingredients that you have. So if you are ready, I am going to go ahead and get started. I preheated my oven to 450 degrees. And I'm going to put it in the oven, my chicken in the oven, for 10 minutes, you guys. It's on, and then your chicken is going to be done. So I'm going to walk you step by step. Let me go ahead and cut up my vegetables here. I have asparagus. I mean, not asparagus. I wanted asparagus, but I have zucchini instead. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do half moon. So what a half moon is just pretty much you cut them in half and then you're going to chop it. That's it. Okay. So if you guys can't see me very well, there's this little, my countertop is kind of low. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use only one. I'm going to chop up my zucchini. All right, and now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put my water on as well. I'm going to put my rice into my pot of water so that could be cooked because it's only going to take 18 minutes for your rice to cook. If you do not want to cook your rice on high, that's how you get mushy rice, and we do not want mushy rice. We want our rice to be have a still kind of a firm but tender taste to it, and that's all in how long you cook your rice. So what I'm going to do is I put my rice on. I'm going to go over here so you guys can see. I like for people to see what's going on. I'm going to put my rice on, which I have done. I'm going to turn it on with my, I'm going to cook it on high. Then I'm going to bring it to a boil. After it comes to a boil, I am going to turn it down to a simmer, which is going to be, depending on what type of stove you're having. If you have a gas stove, it's going to be kind of like the lowest flame possible. But if you have a number stove, it's going to be low or number 1 or number 2. So you're going to let it go on a simmer, and then you're going to cover it with a top, and you're not going to bother it, okay? So you're going to bring it to a boil. You're going to, once it comes to a boil, you're going to turn it down to a simmer. After you turn it to a simmer, you're going to cover it up. So you're going to turn it down and put it to a simmer as well. So with what I have going on here, I'm going to get my skillet that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using to saute. So what I'm going to do with my vegetables, I am going to saute my vegetables. And sauteing is only putting a tablespoon of butter or oil. So you're going to have a tablespoon of butter or oil. And then you're going to cook it on the low heat, or you could cook it on high heat. It depends on how fast you are with your cooking, so it won't burn. And you're only going to cook it for maybe, I'm going to say 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. So I have my my skillet on. I got to grab my oil, which I'm going to be using. I like using vegetable oil. So today you're going to have a very healthy meal, okay, you guys? I'm going to put a tablespoon of vegetable oil into my skillet. That's a little bit more. That came out a little too fast. Chop up. I have my vegetables right here. I'm going to finish chopping up my vegetables. Finish chopping up my vegetables, and then I'm going to place my vegetables into the skillet. Place my vegetables into the skillet. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and you guys are enjoying this camp. I hate that I cannot see you guys right now, but hopefully you are following along pretty well. And if I am all over the page or you're not able to keep up, just let me know. And I am going to go ahead and turn on my skillet for my chicken as well. So what we're going to do with the pan-seared chicken, because my time is almost up here, and I told you guys a 30-minute meal, and so that's what we're going to have. My oven is ready. I'm going to drop my vegetables into the skillet here. And then you can use salt or pepper to season your vegetables. Very, very easy, very, very low maintenance meal on today. So you're going to use salt or pepper to season your vegetable. I have actually this pepper supreme. It gives it the right heat and all that stuff. And I do have salt that I'm going to sprinkle on there as well. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and my water is coming to a boil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn down my heat for my rice. I'm going to put my plate on top of it. I'm using a plate. So if you guys got a top you guys want to use, of course you have a top. So cover that up. And let me turn this a little bit just so you guys can see me work. Okay, so when you're pan searing your chicken, what you're wanting to do is, I'm gonna take this off the eye though, the burner, until it cools down just a little bit more. And you do not want to take the top off of your rice, okay? Because what it's gonna do, you're steaming your rice, and if you keep lifting up your top to your rice, it's going to slow down the cooking process, okay? So, now, if you have washed off your chicken, then you're gonna pat it dry, okay? And you're gonna use salt and pepper to season your chicken, okay? It's very easy, very simple. So what I'm gonna do now, because I have mine already marinated into this Dijon mustard, what you want to hear to make sure your skillet is up high enough, I use 2 tablespoons of oil in my skillet for this pan searing. I said 2 minutes. We're going to do a little bit longer than 2 minutes on this vegetable because I want it to kind of brown. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit more. And so when you know that no wonder I got the wrong thing up. Your skillet is ready to put the chicken on there, you want to hear it sizzle, okay? If you do not hear your chicken sizzle, it is not hot enough, okay? Your pan is not hot enough. So you want to hear the sizzle on your chicken because that's going to help it to brown because we're just pan searing. And pan searing is only getting both sides brown, okay? And then the rest of it, we're going to stick this bad boy in the oven. That's why I'm using a cast iron skillet for this because the cast iron skillet, unless you have a skillet that is oven safe as well, but I'm using my cast iron skillet because it's oven safe. And once I pan sear this, it's going to be ready for the oven. So you do not want to disturb your chicken, okay? So once you place the chicken onto the skillet, I'm using a griddle because I want my chicken to have grill marks, okay? So it is searing. It sounds so great, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys want to see. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Let me show you what I'm doing. Let me turn this around so you can see.
Wow.
And what it's going to do, it is going to, when you know that it's ready to turn over, it's going to start lifting, or you're going to be able to start seeing it brown around the sides. So this is going to be like 2 minutes. So we're going to pan sear this on both sides for 2 minutes, okay? And so after 2 minutes, you're going to flip it over. And then the rest of, because my chicken is a little thick, depending on the cut, the size of your chicken breast, it's normally 10 minutes, okay? Oh, look at that. It's starting to brown. You see that's what I want. Oh, it's going to be, this is going to be so good. Okay, I get excited. I like to eat. So once this starts to brown, I got this up on high. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it down on medium. So you can completely cook this on top of the stove as well, or you can stick it in the oven for 10 minutes. And like I said, you want to stick it in the oven for 10 minutes on 450 because that's going to go ahead and cook it fast for you. And yes, I do use a thermometer to check my food to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. So you do not want to disturb it because you want it to brown and stuff. And so don't feel like it's burning. You might feel like, oh, it's going to burn. No, it's not going to burn. You turn it down on the right heat temperature, which is medium, and then you're not going to burn. So I'm not using a...
It look good right there.
Oh, it looks real good.
So this is what we're doing. This is my sauce that we're going to be using. The way you know if you have not gotten your sauce done yet, okay, so you're going to add a glass of vinegar. After you get through with the pan searing, what they really usually require is you use the same dripping from the pan because it's going to have all that flavor in it. But because I'm putting my chicken into the oven, I use a different pan for my lemon chicken. Okay, so You coat the chicken like I did. You season it with a little salt. I did not use flour because of the method that I'm doing, okay? So you season it with a little salt and all that good stuff. And then you're going to cook it on 3 or 4 minutes. Like I said, 2 minutes on both sides. This is ready. We are ready. Okay, my rice is still up in here, doing what it do. I'm gonna move that out the way. So now I'm just gonna talk you through this. All right, so you're going to add a splash of vinegar to the pan. So if you have this already ready for this stuff, you wanna add a splash of vinegar to the pan and let it evaporate. This is according to the recipe that I did give you, okay? Add stock or broth to the pan and scrape up dripping. You're gonna scrape up the dripping. I'm gonna turn it over now. 1 second, let me turn this over. I'm gonna show you what it looks like now because I just flipped the chicken over. And then you have curd, okay? The recipe called for curd, and it's the same, pretty much the same method that I use, but the curd it may be a little sweet, okay, you guys? And that's what the acid is for, okay? To balance out that sweetness, that's what the lemon is for, to kind of cut through the sweetness of the curd that it may have. So you're going to scrape up any drippings with the whisk, thin the curd by stirring in a little hot water, add curd to the broth and whisk to combine, all right? Then you're gonna add chicken back to the pan and simmer for 1 to 2 minutes to thicken sauce and finish cooking chicken pieces. If you cut yours up in pieces, I'm not cutting mine up in pieces, okay? And so you're gonna remove from heat, add scallions or the chives and zest and toss your chicken pieces. So that's and that's the entire recipe, okay? So let me show you now what it's looking like, okay? Because I did the grill marks and everything. Because I wanted grill marks.
Miss Kristy, we don't have anything going on at 12 o'clock, so just take your time.
So this is how okay, thank you. The grill marks look. And if you want it to be a little bit darker than that, then hey, leave it on there just a tad bit longer. It's not gonna hurt. Like I said, you can cook it on top of the oven or you could put it inside the oven as well. I'm getting ready to put mine inside of the oven right now.
Well, that looks good.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let me, FYI, I bought this rubber handle because the cast iron skillets get hecka hot. So that's gonna keep you from burning your hands. But I'm not able, mine is not that hot right now. I'm gonna place this in the oven and it's gonna cook the rest of the way for 10 minutes. So I love using my timer. But
yeah, that's the best thing to do is use your timer.
Yeah. 11:31. So we're gonna be, sorry about that. Trying to switch back and forth so you guys can see what's going on. So like I said, it takes your rice 18 minutes to cook, to simmer. So once 18 minutes is up, you want to check your rice to make sure it's at the, right, al dente is what they use in the French term, okay? If it's at the right consistency that you want it to be. So like I said, I use long grain rice. Okay, this is done. This is done. So I'm done with this. It's not overly cooked, and I'm just gonna drain off the rest of this water. And I'm gonna season this. And
Don't you mean chicken stock? Not water, chicken stock.
I normally would make chicken stock, but I did not make chicken stock this time. I just bought some chicken stock, okay? And we're gonna leave it.
Miss Kristy, can you unmute yourself, please?
Got it. So I did not buy chicken stock this go around, but the rice is ready. You want to drain off your rice. And then you can season it. I normally just season mine. If you have any herbs, parsley or cilantro, you can season you can add the herbs and stuff to your rice. This is a lot of rice, you guys. And I am going to use this plate that I have in front of me. We're waiting on the chicken to get done, which would be finished in a few minutes. And I am going to go ahead and plate the rice. Because presentation is everything for me. So this is done. So I hope you guys are enjoying. If there's anything that you would like for me to repeat while we're waiting on this chicken to get done, I will be glad to repeat. I cannot see if anyone is responding on Facebook. If you have questions, I will go back and answer the questions that you may have, okay? So if I went too fast for you, I will go back and I will explain everything, and I will actually put the recipe for the sauce, the lemon sauce that I use, if you want to use this particular recipe versus the one on the that I gave. Okay, so the sauce itself should take no longer than, I'm going to say, 5 minutes. And you know that your sauce is done if you can pull, or if you take, it's called nappe. If you take a spoon, I'm going to show you, and you rub it through, and you see that it did not come back together, then that's how you know your sauce is ready. So if you want it to be a little bit more thin, or if you want it to be a little bit more thicker, it depends on the amount of liquid that you use to put in it, okay? So if you want your sauce to be a little bit more thin, add just a smidgen more liquid to it. And as you go along, as you adding liquid, you build the flavor by adding go back and add your seasoning to it, because as you add more liquid to your sauce, it's going to change the flavor of it. It's going to be flat. So to give it a nice flavor as you go along, you want to add your seasoning to it. So in this seasoning, I use scallions for this recipe. I use scallions, garlic. So I let my scallions and garlic saute until it becomes translucent. And then I added my heavy cream that I used in here, and some wine. I used wine. I'm going to show you what I used. So this is the dry wine that I use. You can pick this up at your regular, grocery store. So I use the Pinot Giorgio. I cannot say these wine names, you guys, so it's all right. But this is what I use, the Pinot. This is what I use. I use about, I'm going to say 3 tablespoons of white wine for this recipe. And what it does, it helps cut through the acid and all that stuff in it. So that's what I use for that. And then I did use some heavy cream. So I used a third a cup of heavy cream. So you're just going to pour it in, and you're going to mix it up. You're going to stir. So you're going to have to work so it won't burn. Okay. We have a few more minutes, and my chicken should be ready. Almost ready.
Was that dry wine?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And so I just use my whisk, or use a whisk to continue to make sure that your ingredients are combined. And like I said, this particular sauce only takes like no longer than 7 minutes, okay, to make. And like I said, it's done if you can run your finger on it, put it on the back of the spoon, and you run, and you see that it did not come back together. It parted like the Red Sea and stayed. So that's what you're looking for. Okay, so with my rice, I'm going to add some seasoning to my rice, which I'm going to use my pepper supreme that I have here. And then my plate I don't like my plate to be nasty. That's what I'm going to use Let's see, you can add some salt to this if you want to add some salt to it, but I did not add any salt to it because of the lemon season, the lemon sauce that I'm going to use. I already had the salt and stuff to it, and so I don't want it to be overly salty. And this is, like I said, it's going to be a healthier version of, well, healthier lunch, okay? So we're going to check the chicken just because we have a few minutes left, and we want to make sure that it's cooking accordingly. Woo! Let's go. I have a thermometer, so I'm going to check my chicken. You want your chicken to read 165, okay? An instant read of 165. That's how you know your chicken is done. If it does not read 165 and you want it to hit 165, because anything after that is that means your chicken is going to dry out. So to get it moist like you want it to be, and to have that still that tender taste and still not being like you got to suck like this. You ever ate some food that you had to do like that because it's so dry? You don't want that. You don't want that. Like, and then give me a cup. You don't want to have to do that, okay?
That's right.
So, making sure that it's ready, and like the thicker the cut of the chicken is, you're going to add like a minute or two to your cooking time, because that way it'll be cooked all the way through. So my temperature right now is 125. So I have a few more minutes to go with this chicken. And you want to check it at the thickest part of the chicken, okay? The thickest part. Yes, sir. We have a few more minutes and we shall be done. Did you guys want to see what it was looking like? Let me show you guys. I can show you. I don't mind, but I don't want to keep opening up the stove so the temperature can stay like I need it to be. Keep opening the stove, it's letting out the heat. So this is what it's looking, how it's looking. Y'all, that's gonna be good.
That's good.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't mind answering questions, because this is
regarding your Dijon, you used the mustard. You marinated it in those. Is that one of the steps, a required step, or is that just a preference step?
my own preference.
Recipe.
It was my own preference.
Okay.
So you could have just seasoned it with salt and pepper, and that's it. But if you want to add more flavor to it, I use my the lady that is mentoring me, she was telling me about using Dijon mustard to marinate your chicken. And so I tried it. And so that's where I got that idea from, of marinating it in Dijon mustard.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can marinate it in whatever you want. You know, you could just let it, like I said, regular salt and pepper. You can use herbs to help bring out more flavor. I use rosemary. Did I use rosemary? Yeah, rosemary as well in my marinade. And you can also use a Worcestershire. That's a hard word to say. Can y'all say Worcestershire? Say it.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Worcestershire.
I'm not even gonna try it.
Some words make you
It's
feel like
Worcestershire sauce.
Who said that?
Jennifer. Worcestershire sauce.
That is hard to say. So you can use that. So any type of marinade, that you want to use to help break down the chicken and make it tender even more. I like to use, what do I normally use? Well, that is one that I normally use. I usually use the Worcestershire sauce, and I add like maybe an orange juice or some other type of liquid to it. It depends on what flavor that I'm looking for. So if I'm like wanting an orange chicken or a lemon chicken, or I'll add to that. So yeah.
Lemon juice look like it would work well with lemon chicken.
Yes, some lemon juice.
Yeah.
We're going to check it again because it should be at my correct temp now.
So when you're back, I guess in the Little Rock area, when can we book you for cooking?
Whenever, just let me know. Just let me know. And then you also want to make sure that the thermometer, I think my thermometer needs to be calibrated.
How do you calibrate your thermometer?
132 right now. You're going to get some a cup of water, a cup of ice water, and you're going to stick your thermometer into the ice water so that it can read the correct, what temperature is it supposed to be set at? Kiana, what is the temperature for your thermometer? What is it supposed to be recalibrated to? 0, duh, 0. And so that's how you recalibrate it. And then also on the back of your thermometer, it may have a little slot where you can adjust it as well. Take out the battery and all that stuff. So you want to check it. So sometimes it could be your battery that just needs to be replaced, or it just actually needs to be recalibrated. So this is a 10-minute mark, and my chicken should be done now. And I'm wanting to say, sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. I'm wanting to say that I bet it's just my thermometer that needs to be recalibrated, because it should be done. I've done this numerous times to know that my chicken is ready. And I don't want it to overcook.
Because you'll know once you cut it open.
Say that again.
I said, you'll know once you cut it open.
Right. Okay, KK, we moving on up in the numbers. All right, we gotta read. These are some like really thick cuts of chicken, you guys. This chicken was on steroids. This chicken was lifting weights.
We have one Facebook commenter saying that I'm about ready to eat.
You ready?
I'm about ready to eat, yes. It's lunchtime, yeah.
Oh. My zucchini wants to get a little too soft though. I don't like that. Y'all, why did I just touch this hot pan like I didn't just take this out the oven?
Wow.
The way I be thinking, I don't.
Because you country.
That's what it is.
Yep, your mom used to do that too when she was younger.
Just touch that darn hot pan like it's
Like it wasn't nothing. Like, oh well.
I know. I done burned myself many of times. And if I had some lemons, I would have cut up, just for presentation purpose, some lemons to drop on top of here as well.
Yes, ma'am, that looks good.
Thank you so much. Huh. Thank you.
I was gonna say I need a fork, but well, you know, it's not like I can reach it.
And I also got a question on when you're marinated, do you leave it overnight, or is it an hour or two that you put it in the refrigerator to marinate?
I missed the hour time, but to intensify the flavor overnight is best. But you want overnight, you have to be mindful of the salt.
Did you hear that?
Okay. No.
No.
Okay, so 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
But if you leave it overnight, it's to intensify the flavor, but you also want to be aware of the salt content.
Okay, that's what I was trying to make sure. Okay.
The thermometer just needs to be recalibrated, that's all.
Wow, do you only have one plate?
Do I Well, I have 2 pieces of chicken over here, so if you want to drive over here and get this other piece of chicken, feel free to help yourself.
Oh my God, that is good.
Yes.
So this is my lemon chicken with sauteed zucchini. And you guys can add, like if you had any chives, or if you got the chives, or if you purchased any other type of herbs, you could have just, for garnish, you could chop it up, rough chop it, and sprinkle it on top of there. And then you could have cut up your lemons as well to make the presentation even more popping. So, you guys have any other questions?
Okay, I need you to cut it open.
You want to see what the inside looks like?
Yes. Let me see what the inside look like. Cause I'm a type person, I don't want mine to be like pink on the inside, not done like correctly done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cause if I don't have a thermometer, that's what I want to know. Like the texture or how it looks.
Okay. Let me see if you can see
Oh, wow. That looks good. That's almost perfect.
Yes, that's the color I need to look, the way it looks.
And you can still see the juice as well. So
Yes.
that's what you want to look for when you're cooking. And if you did it on top of the stuff, one of the important things that, which I didn't do because I had marinated my chicken, but if you were just washing your chicken off and stuff like that, you want to pat it dry, get some of the excess water off of it. And that way it will help it with, when you are pan searing, it helps with the moisture as well. And then it'll give it a nice, more crispy look to your chicken as well. Any other questions?
Great job.
That's good. That is good. I just can't taste it.
And also, you want to make sure, which I didn't do like I needed to, let your meat rest like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to redistribute the juice. So that goes with like any type of meat. You want to give it time to rest after you cook it and stuff like that. Okay, because if you let the juices flow too quickly, it will make it dry. And that's that sucking action like that when you're trying to eat the chicken that you don't want.
That's right.
Y'all, do you guys have any other questions for me?
Yeah, I saw you in your chef uniform now. So are you doing this like now for a living, or is it a hobby?
It's a living. It's after I get done, this is my last few weeks of class. I am in my externship and I am looking to open a bed and breakfast. And so that's my next step is to, I'm working towards opening a bed and breakfast, and then I am going to open a restaurant.
Now, where are you going?
And say that again?
Where are you going?
Texas. I'll be in Texas.
No. What school are you going? Are you?
Oh, the school that I went to was Escoffier, Auguste Escoffier, Culinary. That's in Texas. They have one also in, I think it's more than one. They have like 2 or 3. I can't think of the other locations right now.
Okay.
Now, let's say I dried out my chicken. Is there any way to replenish the moisture once you've dried it out?
Your sauce, just the sauce that you're using.
Okay. What if you're not using any sauce?
If you're not cooking with any sauce?
Yes. I'm saying this because I'm notorious on drying my chicken out.
Or you
Okay, so if your chicken
make
is
something
too
else
soft-
out of it.
Say that again.
You can bring the bowl,
You can bring it to a boil, bring some water and border and seasoning to a boil, and reheat your chicken.
Okay, okay.
It won't be the same, but it'll bring a little moisture to it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the dry out my chicken, and we're gonna make it work. We're gonna, just so you guys can see. I'm gonna do it on just a regular day,
Okay.
so you guys
Okay.
can see the difference of when your chicken is dried out, how to re-moisture some dried out chicken versus some, perfectly cooked chicken.
Yeah, that was
Okay, I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have to have rice, or can you use any other kind of like noodles or something like that?
Oh, for your starch, you can use whatever you want to use. You can use pasta. You can do pasta tastes like, if you're looking for a quick meal, like I said, 30 minutes or less. Pasta, because pasta only takes 9 minutes to cook.
Okay.
So anything that, and like I said, for a quick meal, so you want to have your vegetables, you want to have your starch, and you want to have your protein. Even if you do not want to use like vegetables, if you like salads, you can get you some good greens, and you can make you a chicken salad. That's a easy, less than 30 minutes meal as well.
all
I
right.
want to say that. Good job.
Thank you
Let's give Miss Kristy a hand. Woo!
so much. Thank you guys so much for having me on my show. Well, not on my show, on YFCC. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, you guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to, DM me, and I'll be glad to answer anything that I can.
Thank you.